Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So tonight, we are going to talk about Cash Gernon from Dallas, Texas, and Darriynn Brown. I'm pretty sure you all have heard about this case. This is the case of 4-year-old Cash Gernon, who was found lifeless in the middle of the street in a Dallas, Texas neighborhood in the 7500 block of Saddle Bridge Road, I believe it is. And 4-year-old Cash is believed to have been killed by this young man, 18-year-old Darriynn Brown. So according to news articles and police reports, this young man, 18-year-old Darriynn Brown, broke into Monica Sherrod's home in the early morning of May 15th and decided to take 4-year-old Cash Gernon from his bed and allegedly somehow or at some point killed him and left him lifeless in the middle of the street. So the articles that I found, I'm going to go to one of those articles right now so that I can read you all some of the information that is being shared regarding this situation. So this article says that 18-year-old, this was on May 16th, so it had just occurred the day before. An 18-year-old has been arrested in connection to the death of a 4-year-old child in Dallas, Texas. Darriynn Brown faces a count each of kidnapping and burglary of habitation, according to records viewed by Law and Crime. The police do expect more charges. I'm pretty sure you all have heard this. Yes, it is heartbreaking. Absolutely. I'm pretty sure this has been all over the news. Everybody's talking about it. But I wanted to talk about a couple of things. The first thing is, like I said in the title, who else is responsible for the death of this little boy? In addition to allegedly Darriynn Brown. By no means am I saying he's innocent. He, according to everything that is out there right now, it does, it looks like Darriynn did commit this. I mean, he is on a surveillance video walking into the room where Cash and his twin brother lay sleeping, like he's deciding which child to take. My question, though, is how did this happen where Cash is living with this woman who is not his biological mother and is not and his biological parent, neither one of them, mom or dad, is anywhere to be found. According to other police reports and news articles, apparently Cash's father, Trevor, left Cash with Monica once they split up. I have not been able to, maybe he just couldn't take care of him or felt like it was best that he be with a woman or a female figure. But my question is, why didn't he go to his mom, number one? And number two, if Trevor couldn't take care of him, wasn't there anybody else? Because when you look at those videos, the surveillance footage, the home is not well kept. Those two boys do not look like they were in the best environment. I know that she was probably doing the best that she could, but I just feel like there were other options. I'm not sure why Trevor decided to leave them with her. And the other question I have is, Darriynn Brown, where's his parents? I saw something that, said that his mom, Mimi Brown, is saying that he's innocent and he has nothing to do with this. I'm kind of lost with that whole thing. Let me know down in the comments below what you all think. You can let me know in the chat. I just feel like somewhere along the lines, Darriynn should have been in some sort of custody before. As we also saw, I saw another article that says that he was arrested and charged for a previous attempt at kidnapping. This article says the man accused of kidnapping a young Dallas boy from his bedroom before stabbing him to death was arrested less than a month ago for another incident. So Darriynn Brown, 18, was actually out on bond for evading arrest when he allegedly took cash from Monica's home. Police received a call on April 27th about a suspicious person sitting in a car looking at houses in the Redbird area of, I guess, where they live. A record search indicated to police that the vehicle had been stolen. When Dallas police attempted to make contact with Brown, he took off out of the car on foot and ran away from officers. After a brief foot chase through a neighborhood, he was taken into custody. Officers found marijuana on Brown, but it was below the amount that would trigger a possession charge. He was only charged for evading arrest for the April 27th incident. Now, Brown is charged with the kidnapping of 4-year-old Cash. The child's body was found in a Southwest Dallas street a few hours after he was taken from his bed on Saturday morning, which was May 15th. Darriynn has not been charged with murder at this point. Police do say that those charges could be forthcoming. I know recently Darriyn's attorney, Heath Harris, indicated that Darriynn was innocent and that wasn't him in the video that everyone's showing, of the surveillance footage of him actually taking cash or someone taking cash. His attorney is saying that that's not him. His attorney is also now saying that he's schizophrenic, which brings me to another point. He clearly has issues. It looks like he may have issues. If you look at one of the other videos, which shows him going into or trying to go into a neighbor's backyard, he looks like something isn't right with him. And I just wonder why his parents and, wasn't keeping a close enough eye on him. Let's see. There was something else I wanted to see. I wanted to try to find that monitoring video. Hold on just a second.
You don't know what tomorrow will bring. Todd.
And I'm Anna Vitale. Thank you so much for waking up with us.
Good day. Here for you. First at 4 a.m.
A surveillance camera in a 4-year-old boy's bedroom helped identify the 8. Yesterday morning on a street near his home in Southwest Dallas. Darriynn Brown is charged with the burglary and kidnapping and capital murder. A charge will likely follow soon. Fox 4's Sean Rabb has today's developments in this case. Sean.
Now, Steve, police have not added that capital murder warrant yet. They are waiting for some forensic evidence to be returned from Swifts. But while we've learned a lot more, there's still a lot we don't know. How did the suspect get into that house? How was the little boy killed? And the question all are asking, why?
We don't understand.
It is incomprehensible that flowers and teddy bears now mark the spot in the 7500 block of Saddle Ridge Drive. The lifeless body of 4-year-old Cash Gernon was found Saturday morning.
Tell me about Cash. What kind of little kid was your little brother?
Sweetest little boy. He loved everybody. The biggest smile ever. He loved to play superheroes with us and all that.
Cash, like a little brother to Cameron Mori. His mom, Monica Sherrod, had cared for Cash the past few months since the little boy's father left him. The family got up Saturday morning. Cash was gone from their home.
I got up. I'm talking about in my shorts, no socks, no shoes, no shirt. Running around the neighborhood looking for him.
Just a few blocks, running to an horrific crime scene. Dallas police soon arrested Darriynn Brown, 18, and charged him with burglary and kidnapping.
Yeah, we knew him around the neighborhood from school.
An arrest affidavit says an Arlo baby video monitoring system showed at about 5 a.m. Cash was removed from his crib as he was sleeping. Monica Sherrod viewed the video and identified the suspect, Darriynn Brown. But the affidavit is not clear about how he got into the house in the 7500 block of Florina Parkway, what was the motive for his alleged actions, and what, if any, relationship Brown had to anyone in that house.
Had you seen him later?
I seen him maybe 5 days before. After that, I didn't see him since.
And that was just like, what's up? It wasn't.
Yeah, they just like, hey, hey, how y'all doing? And that was it.
Brown, with only a misdemeanor evading charge that he was out of jail on bond for before this, now has a $1.5 million bond.
There's no reason for this. Like, what he did was wrong. And I don't know why. I don't know what made him think that this is all right and this is okay. It's a 4-year-old kid, bro. Like, for what?
Now, Cash had a twin brother who was also staying in that home with Cameron and his mom. That twin brother has been removed from the home by Protective and Regulatory Services, as well as Cameron's 2 younger biological brothers. That move may be temporary. The family planning a balloon release Sunday evening at the park in the woods. It's on the Dallas-Duncanville border. That's going to happen at 6 o'clock Sunday evening.
Okay, so what do you all think about Cameron? I want to believe that he's heartbroken about this and, is not involved in any way. He just, I don't know. I didn't see any tears. I didn't, I'm not saying that that's the only way to determine whether or not somebody is devastated or broken up by something, but it just doesn't seem, it seems like something is a little off with him, and I'm not sure what it is. Let me know down in the comments or in the chat if you have some of the same thoughts or if you have some of the same questions. So there was a total of, sounds like 5-6 people inside of the home. Cash, his twin, Cameron, and then Cameron's 2 younger siblings. And that's true. That's true. Some folks do react differently, especially on camera. That is true. And you never know. I just think that not taking away any responsibility from Darriyn's mother, Mimi, I feel like she needs to be, held responsible if he did do this. If he is schizophrenic, that means that his family should have had a very close watch on him, especially since he had done this before. Like I said earlier, there was an elderly man in the same neighborhood who back in April said that Darriynn also walked into his home and tried to take his granddaughter. And he essentially had to kind of fight him off and force him out of his home. He didn't press charges at the time because it seems like everyone kind of knows him in the neighborhood or has seen him. But after this incident, he came back and said he wanted to press charges. Okay, more of the interview had him talking about what he wanted to do to the kidnapper. I think I saw some of that as well. He very well could be, he's young. So like you said, not knowing how to react or not wanting to show any type of emotion on camera is very possible. I don't really want to focus too much on him. It was just a thought that I had. My main thing is, if Darriynn did this, which to me, it looks like Darriynn in the surveillance video, unlike his attorney saying that it doesn't look like him and it's not him. To me, it does look like him. Let me know in the comments below if you think it looks like him. If it is him, and if he did do this, which would be in line with what he did just, the prior month in April. I really feel like more than just Darriynn is responsible for this child's life being taken. His father, first of all, should have never left him with Monica, or either one of the children with Monica. I don't necessarily think that her living environment was the best. When you see those videos, the house is in complete disarray. They're living in a back room that looks like an add-on or a patio. I know, not a patio, but like a family room or whatever could have been an add-on. But to me, they're young. They're 4 years old. They're too far away, it looks like, from everyone else. And literally there's curtains falling off windows and things like that. And yes, she may have been doing her best given the circumstances, and that's fine. But I do feel like those boys' father should be, I know he feels horrible, but this is just crazy to me. In addition to, like I said, Darriyn's mom, Mimi, she's saying that he didn't do it. He's innocent. I understand natural reactions for a mother, but she also knows that he has issues, just like his attorney said, that they have extensive records, that he's been going through a mental health crisis. So in light of all of that, why wasn't he in some sort of treatment program, like a 24-hour program where he's being monitored or cared for? Or where was she when all of this was going on? He's clearly been roaming around the streets, doing strange things, looking in people's backyards and sitting in stolen cars and walking into people's homes. And she had to be aware of this behavior. Let me know down in the comments below what you all think about that. I just feel like quite a few people should have been a little bit more careful with Darriyn's behavior, given his history. Let's see. I want to see if I can find the surveillance footage of him walking into the room. Hang on a second. Okay, let's see. There's no audio on this, so this is just the footage of him walking into the room. It looks like he's on no, he's not on a phone. I thought he was on a phone for a minute. Oh, I'm sorry, you guys may not be able to see. Now let's see. He has on glasses. And he's just standing there looking. I mean, this is a long time that he's just literally just standing there. He's just I wonder what he's thinking at this moment. It's almost like he's hesitant to do what he's doing. I wonder if he's talking to him. This is crazy. I think so too. I think it is very odd that he just looked into the camera. He doesn't seem to be fearful, but I don't think that he's fearful in general, being that he walked into somebody's house. And look here, he actually comes back during the day and is looking at the other twin. So then my question is, how does he even know anything about this home? So apparently, from what I understand, originally Monica said that she just knew him from around the neighborhood, but then it was mentioned that he had been in their house before. Wow is right. He literally comes back. I have to look at this again. Like, he comes back and is petting the other twin. And this is either, I wonder when this happened. I wonder if this is like after Cash was found or before. It had to be before. And I saw a news clipping or an article where, I think it was an interview where Cameron said that, you guys, I just kind of lost my thought. Hang on a second. I really don't even know what to say about that. It says Brown was known to the family as the brother of her older son's friend, but it is not yet known why he would have targeted the toddlers and was identified from the surveillance footage. Brown was known to the family as the brother of the older son's friend. So is the older son Cameron? And at the time of this kidnapping, Brown was wearing an ankle monitor stemming from a separate arrest last month, like I said earlier. He lives with his parents a half a mile away from where Cash's body was found, was arrested on April 27th on a misdemeanor charge of evading arrest in a case that's still pending. So during that first arrest, I wonder if there was no discussion about his mental health or his mental ability. I mean, I'm sure his parents knew about the previous encounter with him trying to basically kidnap another little girl while in the care of their grandparent. I know his parents had to know about that. So there was no conversation or discussion about his mental health at that time. Only now, after he's being accused of killing a little baby. Now, do they want to bring up this defense that he's schizophrenic and has all of these mental health issues? The attorney defending the man suspected in the recent kidnapping believes his client suffers from schizophrenia. So he's saying he believes that. I wonder if the mental health records prove that, or if this is just his speculation. And now he's going to find some mental health expert to, of course, give him what he wants. Darriynn is charged. This is just a repeat, charged with the kidnapping of Cash. His attorney, Heath Harris, says he's not guilty, despite police saying capital murder charges are likely coming when the forensic exam is complete. Heath says he's looking forward to defending these charges. The attorney claims that he wants all the evidence to come out. I totally agree. Many schizophrenics know right from wrong and don't kill children, right? You're absolutely right. It was something else. Yeah, so less than 2 hours later, police said the 4-year-old was found multiple stab wounds, so just blocks away. Where's the knife? Sherrod's son, Cameron, also lives with the twins. He spoke to Fox News and said he revealed he knew Brown. So I'm assuming that his friend is Brown's brother. Maybe. And Brown's attorney is adamant that that is not him in the video. So who else is it? It looks like him. The only difference I see is the person wearing glasses. He says, I quote, "They may have a witness that is testifying that it's Brown, but I want an opportunity to challenge that witness. Even if you believe that it is Brown in the video taking cash out of the crib. Okay, then what happened? What happened? You have 3 seconds." And here's the part about the previous incident. So court records revealed in February, Brown broke into a home a few doors down from where the 4-year-old lived, assaulted a homeowner, and tried to take his 2-year-old granddaughter. The grandfather only pressed charges 3 days after Cash was found dead in the street. So in February, so this happened in May. So literally, almost 3 months prior, he did the same thing with the 2-year-old girl, brazen enough to go into someone's home and take this child after trying to assault the grandfather. But his attorney says Brown had been to a mental health facility but was later released. "Based on what I believe, I'm going to be able to support this kid is schizophrenic," he said. "We want to see if this was a situation where it's a whodunit or a simple question of why wasn't this prevented. A motive is still a mystery." What do you all think about this attorney? I understand defending your client, but these statements are so insensitive and ridiculous. A whodunit? The camera's telling you who done it. And why wasn't this prevented? That is a question. Hey, Katrina, how are you? Did they not find DNA? I don't know. They have, I'm sure there's some DNA. If Cash was stabbed, I'm sure they're going to find something. What did this say? The medical examiner said the autopsy report is not available yet and could take more than a month before it's released. So I'm sure they're in the process of doing everything that they can to obtain DNA and all the things that they need in order to prove or figure out what happened. I'm also sure that there has to be some sort of DNA there if this is a stabbing. I'm honestly speechless. I know I heard the father talking and just kind of basically hysterical or upset with, the outcome and what's happened, trying to explain why he left the boys with Monica. How do you all feel about that? Let me know down in the comments below how you feel or what you think about this father leaving these 4-year-old boys with basically strangers. I mean, he knew Monica, but how well did these boys know Monica? She says they, that they called her mommy and things like that, but you never know. And what do you think about Monica? I mean, she has I know that a lot of people on social media were pulling up her criminal history, because people are skeptical of her and her potential involvement or what she knew. I'm shocked that everybody who knows Darriynn basically didn't know his mental state. That part I just don't understand. You can usually, after spending time with someone or interacting with someone, don't you think that you can tell, if they have some sort of mental issue or instability? I would think that you would be able to tell something would trigger, a red light or something to go off with you to be like, hey, I got to watch him, or, That's a valid point. I mean, she did do it. She did agree to take on the responsibility of taking care of 2 young boys when she had her own 3 children. And, I don't know what kind of arrangements they had as far as financial support or if any, but yes, that she does have a heart of gold for doing something like that when, she didn't have to do it. It's just, my question is, was it the right thing to do? Was it the right thing for Trevor to do? These kids' father, where was their mother? Did she, was she not fit? Was she not capable? I did see something or heard something where, I mean, up until now, obviously she didn't appear to be that she was trying to find him. They've been with Monica all this time. I'm wondering, why didn't she try to get them? And now, as I understand it, the other twin, Cash's twin brother, is no longer in Monica's custody, as well as her 2 children. Her smaller kids are no longer in her custody, but I'm not sure. I think Cash's brother went to his mom, and I don't know, that may be temporary, but I'm not sure. What would be his motive for doing this? It just doesn't make sense. There has to be something, going on in his mind. He attempted to do this once already with a 2-year-old little girl, or do something with her. He was bold enough to take this little girl when her grandfather was around. I'm interested to find out what happens with this. He clearly, something isn't right. And I just think that he definitely should be held responsible. Could this have been prevented? I feel like it possibly could. It could have been prevented if perhaps his mom would have taken his mental illness seriously. It sounds like there's just this, it doesn't appear that she took it seriously. If he had just done this a few short months ago, this is something that if my child did something like this, whether they had a mental illness or not, I would be watching them like a hawk. You wouldn't be able to go anywhere or be around anybody's kids if I knew that you just tried to kidnap somebody's child a few months ago. XOXO says, I wonder if there's 2 Darrynns, meaning with his mental health could possibly be multiple personalities. That's possible. I mean, anything is possible. I would have to look into, it could be that he has multiple personalities. All of that's very, very possible. I just still, even with the multiple personalities, it's clearly shown that even though he's 18, he still needs supervision. So if he's under the care of his mom, he's not working, she's providing for him, you know, the family is kind of looking after him. I feel like they should have been a little bit more attentive to his behaviors, and they should have been more aggressive with his treatment, because if they're working throughout the day, he shouldn't have been out. And police, you know, it should have been something that was told to the judge too. So in the original arrest, if he's on an ankle bracelet, that means they're monitoring him. In that original situation, his parents should have said something to the courts, like, this is what his, you know, his mental health status is right now. I'm not sure if an ankle monitor is going to help the situation, because those usually are like, what, you can only go in around a certain area. It wouldn't prevent him from leaving his home unless they had it set up that way, you know, to like, hey, if he leaves more than 100 feet from his front door, then the monitor should go off. Something else could have been done. And I just think it's a tragedy and a disservice to Cash. Good point. That's the point that I feel like is very important. I'm just going to put it out there. I know that in the African American community, a lot of times, I don't know about any other communities, I don't know about any other ethnicities or groups, but I know about my group, my ethnicities, my ethnic background, and my group of people. We have a tendency to not want to address the mental health issue. We treat it as, it's almost like where you're like, oh, you know, oh, they have a little bit of issue, but we just leave them over there, they'll be all right. And that's true. And I think it's a Google Cash Gernon's biological dad speaks. Okay, I will. I think it's there's a balance between wanting to not create like a stigma or make people feel like they're different with doing what's best for the person and everyone else, and what's the safety of others. And I think that's where our community kind of gets caught up, because we don't want to treat anyone, our family, our loved ones, differently. And there's also this, it's a difficult situation. Like, you don't want to think that something may not be right or something could be wrong with a person. So you lean towards the side of, oh no, it's not that bad, or, oh, it's not that big of a deal. And I think that's where our community kind of gets caught up a little bit with, you know, even in this case with his mom, Mimi, she's like, oh, nothing's wrong. You know, the attorney is saying all of this stuff about mental health and whatever, but she hasn't said it, as far as I know. I'm going to Google Cash Gernon's biological father speaks. Hang on a second. All right, I got it. Hold on.
Mumbai police register case against Tiger Shroff and Disha Patani. A case has been registered for allegedly violating COVID pandemic norms. The celebrities were found
Hello, my name is Trevor Gernon. I'm the father of Cash Gernon and Carter Gernon. I understand that all of you have questions, and I would like to take a moment to address the public. First, let me say that I do not wish this nightmare on any parent. You have no idea how hard it has been for all of us, or how hard it is to hold it together while everyone picks your family apart, family turning on another. All attention and time should be reserved for Cash. I want to thank you all for being so compassionate and motivated for justice. It's comforting to know that so many of you feel this loss too. So I will start by clarifying my absence. I knew Monica for a good few years before moving to the Dallas area. She was a single parent like me, so naturally I would ask her advice on local things. At the end of February, beginning of March, Monica offered her home and help, which I was thankful for. Being a single dad with twin 4-year-olds can be overwhelming from time to time. When I decided to move back to Houston after an unsuccessful job hunt, amongst other things, I felt it was in the boys' best interest to not disrupt their routine. They were comfortable. They were around other kids, and from what it appeared, Monica was a trustworthy person. This choice I made with best of intentions has resulted in the most horrific outcome. I have paid the most ultimate and painful of price for my poor judgment, and I have to live with this devastation every single day. I will never forgive myself. If I could, I'd go back and do everything different. This is a nightmare that doesn't go away once I open my eyes in the morning. Sorry. We just don't understand how this could happen to such a bright and cheerful kid. I'm sorry, I'm trying. I understand how Mindy and Connie could be upset and want to do and say things to me because he was in my care. If it had happened in her care, I'd unfortunately feel she held responsibility too. When you have to process and comprehend such violent tragedy, our group blames others. It blames ourselves. And Mindy, I am so sorry that I failed to keep him safe. That is my job as a dad, and I was not able to do that. And I'm sorry. To make matters worse, I have to fear for my freedom, as it is a goal of some to see me go to jail rather than grieve the loss of my little boy. All I want to do is have that one thing every parent deserves, to say goodbye and be with my son one last time before I return him home. I wish I could give you all of the answers, but I don't have all of them. I'm barely getting through a day that doesn't take me to a dark place. I miss my son. I miss my kids. I hope you all can understand how fragile we all are and how quickly things can turn upside down. It makes you wish you spent more time. I'm sure that throughout this situation, there will be a lot of less than favorable things said and speculations towards everyone involved.
It is heartbreaking.
I would hope that we can all cooperate and band together to make sure Cash gets the justice he deserves. He deserves to see us all united, the strong, loving family that we are. Thank you for all of your support and care, and thank you all for allowing me the opportunity to get my voice heard.
So what do you all think about that? I feel like he is definitely heartbroken, like any parent would be. I think he realizes that he may have made a mistake with the best intentions, it sounds like. That's tough. I mean, it's true that most people have, Monday night quarterbacking, as people say. When you're looking back, you can say what you would have done or how you would have handled things. I don't know. I personally don't know that I would have left my children with someone that I had, met or had been talking to for a few years, even if they were comfortable. But maybe he felt like it was the best decision given he was in transition with trying to find a job and all of that kind of stuff. I can understand that. It's just, to me, I still go back to more than Trevor. I go back to who was aware of Darryn's mental state and why weren't they watching him like they should have been, given what he had already done just a few short months before. I jumped out on accident. I'm sorry about that. Thank you, XOXO. But yeah, you guys, given Darryn's past behavior, I'm just stuck on why his mom, the judge, somebody, his mental health counselors or therapists or psychologists, psychiatrists, why didn't anyone do a little more? Like, I feel like we don't take things as seriously as we should when it comes to mental health. Sometimes we can be, I feel like it's a balance. There's this balance between being too strict or too tight on a person who has a mental health issue and being too lenient. We don't want to be too strict or too tight because we don't want to take away their human rights or their rights to be, who they are and certain freedoms. But we don't want to just allow people to have the ability to do things when we know that they may have a tendency to do something. So how do we handle that? How old was he when he tried the first kidnapping? I don't know if the 2-year-old was his first attempt, but he was 18 when it was in February, when he walked into someone's home in the middle of the day and tried to take this man's 2-year-old granddaughter from him. Apparently he assaulted this man and then attempted to take the 2-year-old girl. And the gentleman didn't press charges. Sounds like because he knew the kid from the neighborhood. Everybody's like, oh, we know him, he has issues. It seems like that's what everyone's saying. So we just kind of give him a little bit of grace or whatever. But he didn't press charges. He only pressed charges 3 days after Cash was found. Right. A few months ago, February. So he did this in February, and I'm sure he was 18 then, if not maybe 17, but I think he was 18. I'll have to look. I feel like his birthday's in December. I could be wrong, but either way, he was 18, old enough to know better. And even in the surveillance video, he's like pondering something when he's standing over Cash in the room. It's almost like he's pondering or thinking, trying to figure out. He's processing. It's not like he's just out of his mind, it doesn't seem. So Monica asked the man not to press charges. Why? So she has more of a connection with Darrynn than she's letting on. Why would she ask him not to press charges? Do you know? Why would she even be involved in that? Because her son is friends with the brother? That's a good point. Did the family have mental health coverage for him after 18? That's a good question. I don't know, but if he was going through a mental health crisis, and if he's already, I believe, if he's already diagnosed with some sort of mental health issue or disability, he would get some sort of assistance, I would think, even if his parents aren't able to provide medical care. That's just me, with my own limited knowledge. That's what I think, but I could be wrong. Okay, so the plot thickens. That's how Darriynn knew the layout of their home. So again, that makes me think I have more questions now. Wouldn't you all want to know? So if he stayed there sometimes, that means Cameron knew of his mental state. I would think that Monica would know of his mental state. Why would he be allowed to be there? Why would she trust him to be there? It kind of goes back to me in my mind, that balance. Oh, he's harmless. Oh, he just has a few challenges, or oh, he, whatever. Trying to, lighten it a little bit. And then now look, she had to have known about the incident with the 2-year-old girl back in February. I wonder if she still allowed him to come over to their home after that. Per Leslie Pinkerton, the non-biological grandmother, Darriynn was living in the home with his younger brother for a school year. Okay. So let me know, you all, what you think about all of these details. All of this stuff to me sounds like, personally, in my opinion, you all don't have to agree, obviously, but in my opinion, this is why I feel like Monica bears some responsibility, even if it's negligence, because if Darriynn had lived with her for a year, even if it was off and on, even if it was 3 days here, 4 days there, 5 days here, whatever, she had to have seen some sort of sign of his mental state. Don't you think? And Monica was in jail. Yes, I saw that. She was in jail at one point. This is why the family feels so betrayed. I'm XOXO. I am kind of like, me and you are seeing eye to eye. I just feel like she had to have saw something. If she's in her, if she has the wherewithal, I'm not saying she's not intelligent or, whatever. I'm just saying if she was able to pick up on certain things, she should have been aware. She should have felt like something was off in at least, at the very least, like you would notice something. First of all, why was he staying there with her? He has a mom, Mimi Brown, from what I understand, is his mother, and they live in the same neighborhood. Why did Darriynn have to live with Monica just a few blocks away or a few houses down? That doesn't make sense to me. Let me know down in the comments if you guys know any of the details around this. Like, why did Darriynn live with her for a year? And if this is all true, I can definitely understand why Cash and Carter's family, maternal family, feels betrayed. I mean, I would be through the roof. I would be beside myself. First of all, I just wouldn't have allowed the situation to happen as far as my kids being with this woman, but trouble at home, that's enough. What kind of trouble? If I'm a mom, my children's friends are not going to come live with me because they're having trouble at home and I don't know what the trouble is. I need to know what's the trouble. I need to talk to your parents. I need to know what's going on at your home and why coming here is going to make it better. That's just me. And I don't believe that. If everything is true, or if everything that's being shared is accurate, I don't believe that Monica didn't know. And I'm sorry, guys, the more I hear, the more questions I have. The way I know everyone doesn't keep a house in pristine shape, but I think it says a lot about a person and how they do things when the home is the way it is. I saw one of the videos where someone brought up a good point, that it looked like the home, the door was kind of like rigged, where someone looked like someone tried to break in, and they put like these metal kind of sheets up on the door lock area to try to reinforce it, you know, because it looks like someone had broke the lock or whatever. To me, it just didn't look like a safe situation for these two boys. It just definitely, they were living in a sunroom area with a sliding glass door, for one. It looks like they were on the opposite side of the house from everybody else, and they're only 4 years old, which is crazy to me. They look like they were living in this room that's closest to the garage door, which Cameron indicated in a video that was broken and didn't work. So that means this kid, Darriynn, probably knew that that garage door didn't work and was broken. He clearly knew how to maneuver around in the home because he had been living there. If he had some sort of obsession with the twins, I just feel like that would have been seen, or you would have had some sort of intuition, like, why is he, you know, what's his fascination with kids? You would have saw that fascination if he had been there for a year. Can't find info of him staying, but we'll look. Okay, I'm gonna try to look too, you guys. I just feel like there were signs that were being ignored, or they know more than Monica and Cameron are more aware of something than they're sharing. Right. That's true. Clearly, he has issues. And this article that I just found says, this is Mimi, his mom, talking. It's a woman, according to the article, at Brown's address, identified herself as Mimi Brown, Darriyn's mother. She said her son was home all weekend and could not have kidnapped the boy. That's not right at all, quote, the woman told the outlet. I know my son is traumatized. I know he's scared because I'm scared. Mimi said her son is a patient of Metro Care Services, which provides mental health care to children and adults. Excuse me. She said he has several young cousins that he helps take care of and wouldn't have hurt Cash. Darriynn is very kind, she said. I feel that he's being framed. Brown is being held on charges of kidnapping and burglary, but police said more charges are likely pending. They're more likely pending results from a forensic analysis. And the police have not confirmed how Sherrod identified the suspect or Brown's relationship to Cash. This article was from May 19th, so I'm pretty sure that last statement is changed, obviously. But based on what I just read as far as Mimi's statements about it couldn't have been him, he couldn't have done it, I feel like all of that's just denial and trying to protect her child. What do you all think? I mean, she says, I'm going to read it again. Darriynn is very kind. She feels like he's being framed. Framed by whom? I know that there was some kind of talk about possibly being, some people were kind of saying that this surveillance kind of looked like it could have been Cameron. I don't agree. That's clearly, to me, in my opinion, that looks like Darriynn. Look at the hair. Let me go back to this. This looks like him. And I wonder if, I mean, it looks like, I mean, obviously Cash didn't scream. He doesn't appear startled. Those are all things that I'm like, what in the world? He doesn't, you know. Okay, I think it's him too. To me, there's no question. It looks like him. It looks like he had on this, I think, an Adidas jacket or whatever. But then when he came back and was looking at Carter, he had on some different clothes, but it still looked like him. And in this article, Cameron says, yeah, we knew him around the neighborhood from school. Why didn't he say at that point that he stayed with us? Why didn't he say that? Why didn't he say, oh yeah, I knew him. He's my friend's brother. They lived with us for a little while. The reason the locks appear longer is because of the headband pushing the hair downward. I believe that. To me, I mean, I see what you're saying. I don't have a doubt. I'm not an expert or anything, but I definitely think it's him. I definitely agree that the lock, the headband could be flattening the lock, so it does come down a little bit on his forehead. But even in this picture here, they're pretty long in comparison to this other one. I think it's him. The question, I think, is why. Why did he do this? What's his fascination with kids? Is that a part of his mental illness that he has fascinations with children? I feel like that could be it, because Mimi, his mom, is quick to point out that he has these cousins that he, loves to spend time with and take care of and watch or whatever, but that doesn't prove anything. It doesn't prove anything at all. It could be one small thing that makes him have this fascination with younger children. It could be, like 2 to 4 year olds or whatever. Good question. What happened with the relationship with Darriynn and his father? That's a good question. I don't know. Does anybody know any of the details? I've only seen very small. I saw the one comment regarding Mimi, but I haven't seen much on Darriyn's father. Let's see. I don't see very many. I don't see very much information on it on his father. I'm looking at one article right now to see. Even what do you like? I'm shocked. The misdemeanor charge of evading arrest. I don't know how that's a misdemeanor, but I guess. The Dallas Morning News reported that Darriynn lives with his parents. So it sounds like both mother and father, and they provide for him financially. And the crazy part about this is I wonder how long Trevor said that he had been knowing, he knew Monica for years, but apparently he had just left Cash with her in March. This article says that Cash's mom and grandmother were looking for the two boys. So they couldn't find. Trevor didn't tell them where Cash and Carter were. That's what this says, that he. Okay, so let's see. According to the Morning News, Brown went to Duncanville High and middle schools. And again, they're quoting his mom, who claims that he was framed and that he is a patient of Metro Care Services, which provides mental health care to children and adults. So I feel like even with that, it's going to come out. The mental health care services that he's getting, if they're efficient or whatever, it'll come out that, what his fascination is or what his, mental health issues are. He may have some sort of fascination with small children, but I just feel like there's more to this. I think there's more to it. I don't like how it's trickling out that he lived with Monica and Cameron for a year. I don't like how these little bits and pieces are trickling out, because it sounds like they're trying to hide something. Somebody's trying to hide something. And I don't want to think Cameron has anything to do with it. I do agree, Kay, like you said, that people express their grief and their frustration in all different ways. Only time will tell. We just have to keep watching and, see what happens. It'll eventually come out. I just really feel like Mimi Brown, whomever his father is, I feel like law enforcement, judge, all of these people had an opportunity to kind of do something different to possibly prevent this. And I think a lot of balls were dropped. And it takes me back to all of these other cases where children are under the care of DCF or, Child Protective Services. And there's just so many things going on, so many cases, and people aren't doing as thorough of a job as they should be, because Darriynn was on an ankle monitor. That, given the fact that he had attempted to take a 2-year-old in February, his ankle monitor should have been set that he could not leave his home more than, 50 feet before it went off. XOXO all have a history of substance abuse and were publicly fighting over who should have the GoFundMe. Too many irresponsible adults in this picture. That's what I'm afraid of. These babies were failed by the adults who should have protected him. Kay, what gets you? How, something different could have been done to potentially prevent this. I mean, the seriousness of trying to take a child from someone, and first of all, entering into someone's home is one thing, but then trying to kidnap a 2-year-old little girl is another thing. And then assaulting a man is another thing. Even if the guy didn't press charges, you still have this information. You still know that this happened. And I'm pretty sure they knew then that he had a history of mental health issues. I just don't believe that they didn't know that. So she was trying to be a good Samaritan and look what happened. Is that what she's trying to say? That he had, you know, he was going through a mental health crisis. What kind? So then she was being irresponsible, all well-intentioned, I guess, but still irresponsible, because if he's going through a mental health crisis, he's not really her responsibility. Those 2 boys were her responsibility. She left, you know, she agreed to take on the responsibility of these 2 little boys, and they were her main priority, not Darriynn, who has a mom, obviously, who says she financially provides for him and who is aware that he was getting mental health care. So Mimi should have had Darriynn, and Monica should have been taking care of her 2 little ones, plus Cash and Carter, who she agreed to be responsible for. And it is very sad. But I can sit here and say what I wouldn't do. I know me, I would not do it. If she knew he was going through a mental health crisis, he would have to go. The video of him lurking in people's backyards, I'm going to see if I can find that one. Literally. He's literally, someone else's surveillance caught him lurking in like going into a backyard gate or something. If I can find it, I'll show you guys. Hang on a second. Hang on. Let me see if I can. I'm going to see if I can find another video of I can't find it, but if I'm going to see if I can find, he's literally like walking into somebody's backyard gate like he wants to do something and then closes it, or maybe he sees, like, you know, he hears somebody or thinks someone saw him and then he just walks off. Exactly, DJ. Don't have someone's troubled teen staying at your home when you have little children there. And I think that's just the common sense part right there. I didn't hear about a relationship XOXO, but if that's the case, that's even more disturbing on a couple of fronts. If that's true, because then I don't even know. That makes me question a lot of things. I mean, time will tell, but Cameron, I want to believe that he's devastated by it. I'm sure he is devastated. He probably just, you know, having a friend who's a little off or whatever, you probably never think that they would do something or go this far. I'm sure, devastated, but there's something there that he's not sharing to me. All right, Kay. Well, good night. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. And come back. Yeah, DJ. I think I'm going to leave that up there. That's like the message. Don't have a troubled teen living in your home that's not your child when you have two smaller children there. It's the whole dynamics of this situation is crazy, guys. And I'm definitely going to stay tuned to it, to keep watching, as I'm sure you all will. I really appreciate you all checking us out tonight and stopping in and leaving all of your great comments and the feedback. Time will tell what really went on there, you know, in all areas as it relates to Darriynn, Cameron, Monica, Trevor, Cash and Carter's mom. Time will tell, and we will just definitely keep coming back to talk about it because it's a good topic. Good night, XOXO. Thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting. Thank you guys for sharing all of your great feedback. I love bouncing all of this information off on each other. Gets our brains thinking. I appreciate you guys. Take care and have a good night. Bye.